She'll she'll eventually stop.
What's up, Niner faithful? It is another Friday. It is almost game day. Just a couple of more days. It's me, Jason, joined by Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hello,
How's it
hello.
going? How's it
It's
going for you tonight?
going pretty good. How about you?
Not bad. It's been a long week, long night, or a long week at work. I can't talk. It's been so long. um, yeah, I'm just ready to go to this concert tomorrow, and then hopefully get home in time enough to watch this game.
Sounds awesome. I know. I'm. This game should be a lot of fun, and can't wait to get into it a little bit more and stuff like that. Because I think it's going to be a fun matchup, and I think the Rams and Niners games are always a lot of fun. Um, and
Yeah.
at least I think so. So it should be a good time.
All right, I'm gonna hit that intro, and we will be right back.
Sounds good.
One day I'll remember I actually have to hit that to stop that intro.
It's
I'm
all
just sitting
good.
there looking at like, you're gonna flip over anytime now?
I know. I know. It's always confusing. That's why I always messed up too. I'm always clicking the little slides or little things.
Yeah,
So
but so yeah, it's Rams week. I don't consider this the marquee rivalry. Do you?
no, I think it's a fun divisional rival game. Divisional rival. Um, I think it's a fun matchup. I think it's one of the more entertaining ones, like in this current age of football, especially with like the Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan stuff, with some of
Yeah.
that, with that kind of stuff. But no, I would not consider this like the big, like marquee, like 49ers rivalry. Like I think honestly that goes to Dallas. I think at the end of the day, um, I think for me, being a younger fan, I don't like Dallas, but the Seahawks will always bug me for a very long time because I lived in that era with the Seahawks being so good and so dominant for so long. So like that's always going to be for me. But no, I consider it Dallas though, because with the classic history with the 80s and 90s and all that stuff, it's
Yeah.
Dallas.
See, I didn't realize that the Cowboys are the bigger rivalry,
Uh
but
huh.
for me, living in Seattle, it has to be the uh, the
The
Seahawks. And I'm
Seahawks.
sorry. Hey, Teresa, thank you for showing Pizarro. Much appreciated. As always, much appreciated. Um, yeah, to me, it has to be Seattle right now, just because, mostly because like, I live here. All my
Yeah.
pretty much every one of my friends, Niner fans. I can't help but not um, that be my biggest rivalry. I mean, but I do realize that overall, it's probably the Cowboys. And I also forgot to start to show that this week we are drinking Mike's Harder lemonade.
Nice.
Mango. That is tonight's drink of choice to get this
I
show
don't
started.
have anything alcoholic, but I have a cherry limeade from Sonic because I
Those
am.
are delicious, by the way. The cherry limeade
Oh,
is the way to go.
it's they're really really good. I needed a little bit of a pick me up because I've been taking it easy today because I had a really long day yesterday, but I needed a little bit of a pick me up for the show. But
I I always get the
yeah,
sugar-free one.
huh?
I always get the sugar-free one.
Yeah, Sonic has a lot of good drinks, and I am sorry if you guys can hear my cat or anything. She's obnoxiously being very obnoxious right now.
No, we can't see. She's not making a deal.
Yeah. So if you see her or hear her purring, I am I apologize, but
Not
I
only this
tried.
is an alcohol-friendly show, it's also a pet-friendly show.
Yes, yeah, but she's trying to get to the wires and stuff right now, so she's annoying. Um, but no, I mean, I think for me personally, it's always going to be Seattle because of that 2012 to 20 like 15 era, and
Yeah,
just how dominant they were, and how we had our spikes during that time as well. So it's just kind of, um, I think for me personally, it'll always be Seattle. But if you've grown up with the Niners, like if you're around, like watching them play in the 80s and 90s, I can 100% understand why it's the Cowboys. I just think it depends on when you started watching them, when you grew up watching football and stuff like that too. Um, but no, I don't consider it the Rams though. I would say so.
it's weird because I hear a lot of people calling it rivalry week. Like, and I get it. The Rams have been in the NFC West with us forever and a half. So I
Mhm.
mean, it is a good rivalry. I mean, especially those the early '80s Rams teams were legit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and funny. I don't think anybody considers the Cardinals a rival at this point.
No, man, the poor Cardinals, but yeah.
They're
No.
like the
Out of all of
bastard
our
stepchild.
division, for real. No, but out of all of the divisional rivals, I think it's Seattle, then it's Rams, and then the Cardinals are last. But
Yeah,
yeah. But that's just in division two. But yeah, no, I do think with both Kyle and Sean McVay being both head coaches of the teams and their history, um, back in Washington and stuff like that, and they're being from similar coaching trees and all that stuff. I think that it's sort of almost kind of like the Pete Carroll, uh, Jim Harbaugh kind of, not as insane, but kind of like that same kind of vibe.
yeah. Because I think if they were to meet outside of football, like if they hung out in the bar, they'd probably be cool. You know, have a drink with each other,
Mhm.
kind of thing. Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh meet outside of football, they're gonna start boxing.
No, I don't think it's I think I said that wrong, but like it's not, it's just like got two competitive guys who have some familiar background, but then with Jim and Pete Carroll, it's more like
It was
it was
hate.
like an
Yeah,
intense rivalry. So it's like a little bit different, but I think it's just kind of funny that we kind of caught the same, like just two coaches who have some history who are coaching in the same division. It's just funny. But
yeah. Pete and Jim Harbaugh had that college rivalry, kind of like with Baker Mayfield and Nick Bosa. It's
mhm,
like you don't forget like your college rivals, you don't forget your high school rivals, but
mm-mm.
you're almost kind of cool with everybody when you become a professional.
Yeah.
It's kind of so I mean everybody's like everybody's throwing dap after the game, changing jerseys. You don't do that in college. You don't do that in high school, but everybody does it in the NFL. It's kind of funny how it's like when you become professional, it's the least I don't want to say intense, but well, that's how we heard her.
Mhm. She's getting
But
the
so
but yeah, no, I agree with that. I think yeah, it's just funny because I feel like because I used to love those Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh like games because especially Harbaugh, he was crazy on the
Harbaugh was
sidelines.
insane.
He was. It was so funny to watch, and um, he got so into it, and I do feel like there's a little, maybe not exactly the same, but I feel like there's definitely a little bit of like a competitive edge of this because
Yeah.
with Kyle, he's always like, I gotta win. This is against Sean. I got to do this kind of thing. I feel like there's a
Yeah.
little bit of that.
Kyle's insane, but Harbs was just nuts.
Yeah.
He was just on a whole nother level of insanity when it came to him. Like not even just to the obviously with Carroll he had the
Mhm.
personal issue they went back to college, but then I kind of miss the antics at times of Harbaugh,
Yeah.
like that kind of
Kyle's just so chill and so like I don't like he's so much more has such a more calming like demeanor. He's able to hold his demeanor better. But I do miss the Harbaugh theatrics though because those were always great and
they
you'd
were
always get great.
hilarious.
And that's why I think we all like Salah because Salah was kind of like the same. He wasn't
Yeah,
afraid to like show how he was feeling. and stuff like that. And I think that's a little bit of that, but
Even Ryan's had not as much as Salah, but even Ryan's had a bunch of the same, showing off a lot of emotion and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
but Kyle does get pissed. I mean, how many times have we seen him run over to, run straight to Jimmy and just start, what
yeah,
we can see him cuss.
yeah.
So,
No, Kyle's just better at holding it in until he just
yeah.
can't anymore. I feel like I don't know. It's just funny.
I kind of remember a couple of plays where he's kind of let loose a little bit, like on bad third downs or something like that, when it's obvious, like, that we got a first or something like that, where it's just obvious. And he, excuse me, kind of gone off on them. But I mean, those are few and far between.
Yeah, no, Kyle. I feel like Kyle probably tries to like keep a cool head so he can keep a cool head for the rest of the guys too,
Yeah.
because like he just wants to do that, and he feels like he probably has to because he's the coach.
Who's the next man up for Womack? Well, let's get into some of the press conference clips that we have and all that. We
Yes,
will
that's
go
true.
ahead and bring that one up. And here we go.
Sorry, 2 days ago. Last play of Wednesday, yeah.
Do you know what the corresponding move is going to be yet?
I got a good idea, but we haven't made it official yet, so I can't say.
You say surgery.
He does not need surgery.
So are you looking at 2 months time?
I think, I know you guys hold me to all this stuff, and Eric, I'm not a doctor. I think it's 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. He hurt his MCL last play of practice yesterday.
That's always terrible when you actually hurt yourself on the last play of anything.
Yeah, just because then was it Mostert who hurt his knee on
Mm-hmm.
No, it's McKinnon. No, McKinnon hurt himself.
Oh yeah, it was McKinnon.
On that last day of practice, right before. Was it right before preseason or right after preseason?
I think it was right before.
Yeah, and so it just, as a player, it just must suck because you worked so hard. You're getting to training camp, you're doing all that, and then just or you get to the beginning of the season and then it's just done. It must be such a hard thing to have to mentally deal with, as well as physically recover from whatever injury you're dealing with.
Yeah, I think so. To answer Teresa's question, I think we're going to start seeing more of Isaiah Oliver. Maybe a little bit more of Ambry Thomas. I think those two are going to be the first two to get more reps. Probably maybe some Quantrez Knight. Let me pull something up real quick.
No problem.
I want to see who is still available. Sorry, just 1 second.
You are good. I'm actually going to see if I can just give her something to distract her, because she is not picking up. There you go.
Oh, where is this? That's the Steelers. I don't.
Well, regardless of whatever's going on, Kyle seems he has to have some idea of what he wants to do. So it sounds like they have some options in mind. They're just formally getting everything ready to formally announce it. Sounds like.
Yeah. Well, looking at the inactives that we had, nobody on the inactive list is a DB.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go back to something else to see if I can get an actual answer. So I'm not sure if somebody like Quantrez Knight is still available, all of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right, so let's just go to our lads.
It's just such an unfortunate thing. And
yeah,
he was a decent player, he was, and it just sucks for guys who are on that bubble too, or on the depth chart. So it's got to be tough.
All right, so where do we even have Samuel Womack?
Yeah, what is he officially listed as?
Oh, he's not even listed on this one. That's weird. Huh.
Is that like
I don't.
where is he?
He's not even listed on here. Weird. And I use Our Lads, and they're usually pretty up to date on everything.
Hmm.
Let's see. Practice squad. We got Shamar Jeans, Charles Jean. Let's see what
Mm-hmm.
else we got. Quantrez Knight. There we go. Yeah, I have a feeling Quantrez Knight is the one that we are going to pull up
Mm.
to the main roster to take his place. I knew I was looking for him somewhere. I can't believe I can't find Womack on here. Where is he? I feel like I'm missing something on here.
Yeah, I don't see him. I'm looking at it too, but I cannot.
Weird that they don't have him even listed on the practice squad.
That's very strange.
Oh, that's because they've already moved him. That's why he's already down here.
Okay.
So this is how update I was. I didn't think they'd be that fast about it. So, yeah, he's definitely already been listed there.
Mhm.
And like I said, I'm going to guess that we are probably going to bring up Quantrez Knight.
That sounds about right. Yeah. I'm
So-
just glad that we've been able to expand the our practice squad up from I think to 16. I think that's been extremely helpful.
I think it's been long overdue. COVID just kind
Yeah.
of forced the hand on everything, but it was long overdue, especially going to 18 games
Yeah.
with getting that bigger practice squad.
Yeah. With that and just with how just many significant injuries there's been recently over the last few years, and like with a lot of teams getting a lot of players injured, it just has made a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we might as well go with Darrell Luter Jr. This is Kyle speaking on how his injury is going.
Where is Luter in terms of his recovery?
I think he's doing a good job. You know, I mean, I don't see him much because he's always working on the side with our medical staff. But again, I don't mind giving dates if you guys don't hold me to him. But I think we're looking like around week 5, week 6 for him. So hopefully that'll keep.
Where is Luter in terms?
So another cornerback that is also in the mixture. Maybe once Luter, if he's ready to go, about week 5 or so, could come back before Quantrez Knight. Replace him on the starting lineup, or does he slide over to the practice squad? Interesting because a lot of people are very high on Darrell Luter Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's just funny because this is the one position on our team where I feel like we don't have super a lot of depth at this position, so it's interesting that we have 2 who are more backups that are hurt. And hello. And so it's just interesting. But yeah, I mean, Kyle saying it week 5, week 6, which would be pretty good, honestly. Like that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it also just depends on whoever. If it's Quan, or what was the other guy's name?
Quantrez Knight.
Yeah. If he pops up and like does a really good job, who knows? It all depends. And this is where these guys who are fringe players or who are trying to work their way up the roster have to just show what they can do. So who knows what's going to happen. But no, I just think that we need to make sure, like, because that's been one strength of our team is that they've tried really hard to have good depth behind our starters. So I feel like they've at least attempted to. So yeah.
I mean, for what it's worth, the quote unquote weak point of the defense, in a lot of people's assumption, has been the corner position, especially the depth behind Mooney and whoever's starting opposite of with him. More than likely is gonna be Diamador. What's up, Brian? Thank you for showing up.
Hello.
So I mean, honestly, and for injury wise, that's pretty much all we have for the 49ers. So to get onto something a little lighthearted, I'm gonna go pull up something real quick. Excuse me. As you guys know, George Kittle is an Iowa Hawkeye. Brock Purdy is an Iowa State Cyclone. This week, they played in their rivalry game. That was called the Pig Bowl, I believe is what my wife called it. Apparently, they have this like 50-pound pig thing that they bring out, and that's what they play for. That's their, every time they're, in Washington, we have the Apple Cup. Every state versus regular college team, they always have, it's called the Pig Bowl in Iowa. So the two of them made a bet that whoever the loser was had to go up. Hi, John. How you doing, brother? Thank you for showing up.
Hello.
And had to wear the other one's mascot. So this is Brock coming out for his press conference, fulfilling on that.
The Merrimans.
That is the Iowa Hawkeye.
I thought that was Lee Corso.
Right? I love that. I don't know which one of the reporters that was. It was like, I thought that was Lee Corso because I don't know if you watch a whole lot of college football, but they have the premier game that they do every Saturday. Lee Corso, one of the analysts, he, for his selection, they'll go Iowa State. He gets the head of whoever it is, throw it on, and they're usually in that town, and either pisses them off or it sends all the college students going crazy.
Oh, that's funny.
What's up, David Corona? Thank you for showing up, brother. So that's just Brock, and then we have a clip of Brock talking about that. Or no. Oh, I didn't upload that one. I thought I did. I thought I uploaded it, but I do not. So I am a liar.
It's all good. Because basically, I think I saw that clip of him talking about the bet. It was just there's some like lighthearted banter about him and Carol, so it's cool. These little things that they do to show their personalities are always kind of great. So I think they're a lot of fun.
So to show you what Kittle would have had to wear, this is what Kittle would have had to wear. They're called the Cyclones, and they have a cardinal as a mascot. Go figure, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean.
So it's one of those weird college things. You got to have some sort of an actual animal, I think, for your thing. So his is a cardinal, even though they're cyclones. I would have said just put a cyclone thing on his hat or something like that.
Probably. It's funny. I've never had to wear a mascot thing like that. I wonder, are they really that heavy? No,
they're a little heavy. They're more hot than anything else. When I was in high school, I wore the one from my school in Japan, Yokota. We were the Panthers. And for one basketball game, I went out as a Panther. I was a very out of shape fat Panther, but a Panther. I mean, it was hot. Dead of winter because they play basketball during the winter time. But running up and down, doing all that kind of stuff, man, it was so hot. And then I also did it when we did the, what is it called when the guys are the cheerleaders and the cheerleaders play football? What's that game called? Oh, Powerpuff Football.
Okay.
We have homecoming week. That was the other time that I wore the Panther outfit. It was during that one.
Okay. Cool.
Stupid, crazy stuff. So
it's just funny. And it's just cool that Brock has seemed to have been pretty much embraced by the whole team. So it's been pretty cool because the guys have posted, I think right after the game, like earlier this week, like a few of them have posted this shot of Brock and stuff. So it feels like everybody's kind of just going to go with it now. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think, as much as I was a Trey Lance supporter, for whatever reason, this locker room has supported Brock from his. I mean, it feels like how they supported Jimmy to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't tell you as to why. My best guess as to what happened is that Trey seems like a very quiet individual. Like he's not very boisterous or not, I want to say cocky, but not very confident. Where a lot of these guys are, and Trey didn't fit that mold. Where Brock is definitely someone who fits that. Where he's not, he's much more boisterous. He's a lot louder and stuff like that. Whereas Trey was just a quieter type leader, which I've
Yeah.
always wanted to see. I wanted to see Trey take that step to be a little bit more vocal, but we never got a chance, and obviously we never will. All
Yeah.
right, Teresa, I'm still concerned about McKivitz. We need more help on the right, so they all hold on. Oh, for sure. I
Oh,
was really
100%.
hoping we were going to go after the Raul guy from that got cut from Cincinnati. I don't know why we haven't at least made an offer to him, but something to keep in mind: we are not going to be going up against JJ or TJ Watt every week. As bad as some of those things, as bad as it looked at times, it's TJ Watt. He's going to make plays. He is an arguable top 5 or 3 defensive end. He's going to get his. I mean, there's just nothing you can do when you have someone who is a stud of that caliber. There's just nothing you can do. Um, yeah, so we'll see what it's like when he's not playing someone of that caliber. But I still would have liked to have seen something being done, or at least an offer to. I
Yeah.
noticed Raul something from Cincinnati. I can't think off the top of my head.
It is weird because I remember seeing that, and I've been seeing people being like, "Okay, maybe this could be an option," and I'm sure it's just like I'm sure playing against TJ Watt did not help McKivitz's case like at all. And he's still a young player, so I mean, I don't know. It's just I do feel like we need to see him against more like not that kind of aggressive as like top tier talent, to see where he's really at.
David McNider, what's up, brother? And just for you, because we are playing the Rams.
Same old sorry ass Rams. Shalom. Same old sorry ass Rams. Shalom.
That is probably my favorite soundbite.
It is awesome. It really is.
To me, that ranks. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I love that the team last year they posted those photos of like Debo on the bike, like photo. I don't know if they were photoshopped or what they were, but like I love that they kind of reused those. I think it's gonna be a thing now. I think it's cool.
Well, I think it wasn't it Ray that actually rode in on the Debo bike and everything to preseason? Wasn't that him this year?
I
think remember. It was Ray that did that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that soundbite, to me, like NFL stuff, ranks right up there with the one with Shannon Sharp. Hello, Mr. President. He's calling. He's like,
for real, that's funny.
So at that point, I don't think there's anything else a whole lot. I mean, there was that we did. We worked out a quarterback, Ian McBrook, which I thought it would have been hilarious if we had signed him, promoted Brandon Allen to the active, and then traded Sam Darnold back to the Jets. Now that
would have been
Aaron Rodgers.
That would have been so funny. It really would have.
But apparently there was no talks. But that was just my kind of like, I don't want to say necessarily a dream, but I think it would have been hilarious to see like, wait a minute, we're trading him back to the Jets, who got rid of him to get Zach Wilson, who then in turn got rid of Zach. Well, they didn't get rid of Zach Wilson, but then thought he wasn't going to. So they went to Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, it was hella funny.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. Oh man.
And Raphael talking about the red out. Yeah, the last projection I saw was that the stadium right now is going to be like, I think they said 66% Niner fans, and they expect that to go up because the block out of the area code for whatever you could order tickets went away Thursday afternoon. So now they're expecting that number to go up. So let's get into that to where I know we've joked about, SoFi being Levi South. It's actually Levi South. I can't think of any sport or anything else to where the away team is wearing their home uniforms and then the home team is wearing their away. Did the Rams just give up? What the fuck is that all about?
I'm assuming so, because I don't know what else they could have done. Because even though they tried to stop Niner fans from buying tickets, people still figured out how to buy tickets and still showed up. And I mean, it helps that both teams are from the same state, and so it's right there. Like instead of going east or going to the Bay, you just head down south and head that way. It's just a little bit longer drive, but at least from where I'm at. But it's just not. It's just kind of funny that it happened that way. It's wild. But I mean, Niner fans travel really well to different
Damn
games.
well.
They really do. So like, especially like, it's not that like if you think about it in that context, it's not that surprising, especially if it's this close and a lot of Niner fans are here in Cali anyway. So
Yeah.
it makes sense, but
I
it's
think
still kind of funny.
LA teams are terrible just because teams have gone in and out of LA. They didn't have a team in LA for the longest time. Then they threw two teams into LA, so now there's you got a split fan base. Excuse me. I almost think that there shouldn't be a team in LA.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm really not, because they could use that stadium to host all their big events. You know,
Yeah. Why
like
can't they host a Super Bowl there?
Literally. So it's just like, it's weird. I don't disagree with you. I have my cousin is a big Charger fan, and so he did not like the move to LA.
I didn't. I'll be honest.
I-
I think they should still be in San Diego, but
Yeah. So it's ridiculous, but you know, what are you going to do? I think it's just because LA is such like, it's
it's a TV market. They want something there.
TV market. There's just a lot of weird factors around that city. It's like a lot of people go there for work or for other stuff too. So it's like a lot of in and out of that city. So I don't think that helps. And then the people who are there, like, and the Rams moved from
St. Louis.
back here, yeah. So it's just, and it had been a long time since that happened. So it's just like, and the only team they had down there for the longest time was the Chargers when they were in San Diego. So it's just weird. So I agree with you. I think it's just a weird situation, and it's just, I don't know.
I just don't think there doesn't need to be a team in LA. I mean, there's so much other things to do in LA besides go to a football game. And then you took what fans you had and then you split them in half because now you have the two teams with the Chargers and the Rams. So, I mean, you made a bad situation worse, I think, by compounding it with two teams.
And then you make it more complicated because now you have to schedule both the like one team on the road, the other team at home, because they both can't be playing at home games on Sunday, and so you have to like you have to have that in the back of your head when you're making this, whoever makes the schedule.
How's it, Kim?
So it's just, hey Kim, and so it's just funny. I don't know. It's just weird. I agree. I don't think there needs to be a team in LA, but you know.
But apparently there is.
It's something. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of LA, should we just jump into our little preview of them?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. All right, so what we are going to have is we have the 49ers playing at our home away from home over in Levi South, also known as SoFi Stadium, with the LA Rams, who last week beat up on the Seattle Seahawks, which was definitely aided by the fact that both of the Seahawks starting tackles went out. So, they beat up on them. What do you want? One of the more interesting historical facts for this game is that it's going to be the first time the number one overall pick is going to be starting at quarterback first, and the last overall pick, number 262, Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, goes up against the number one draft pick. So, I mean, that is pretty damn cool that this is the first time this has ever happened, and whoever thought this would ever happen in a game of this magnitude? Yeah. So, yeah. Listen, when someone brought that up, I was like, oh. I had forgotten that Matthew Stafford was the number one overall pick.
Yeah, I forget about that too. And this is going to be Brock Purdy's first time starting against LA because he has not played against the Rams before. Because we had already finished playing the Rams last season by the time he took over. So this is going to be it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, I mean, how are they going to prepare for him? Maybe they do something completely different than no other team because they don't know. Or is he
Maybe.
just going to completely stunt them because they have no idea? I mean, everybody's got game film, but until you actually see, a lot of things change when you actually play somebody and see him in live in person.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
All right, so we'll go to the second one. So here are the coaches. They're obviously led by Sean McVay. Last year they didn't do too well. They were third in the NFC West, 5-12. All time he is 1-6 versus the Niners. I mean, of course, there's an asterisk besides that, not necessarily an asterisk, but they do have their Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So I mean, as bad as he's been against us, the one time he really needed to beat us, he did, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. So I mean, got to give McVay credit for that.
Hmm.
They also have their defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, who I think is a really good defensive coordinator. Wasn't the greatest of head coaches, especially down in um, Tampa Bay, but not everybody's made to be a general. Sometimes you're just a good, field general or a sergeant kind of a thing, and maybe that's where he's best at. And then their
Hmm.
offensive coordinator is going to be Mike LaFleur, uh, the brother of the other LaFleur up in Green Bay. I can't think of his actual first name off the top of my head. And
Yes.
again, all these guys come from the Shanahan family tree.
Yep. And I think that's why McVay is maybe 1-6 against us. Is I think Shanahan just kind of is able to prepare really well for McVay,
Yeah.
and his overall game plan. So yeah, but yeah, all these guys are under the same kind of coaching tree from the same area. So it's just they're getting to play against each other now because most of them are up high now. So
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Raheem Morris can do with his defense. It's not going to be the best Rams defense of all time, but like I said, I think I like Raheem Morris as a defensive coordinator. Maybe not necessarily as a coach or as a head coach, but I think as a DC is where he really shines at.
hmm.
Let's see, Teresa, we're willing to school the schools rookies on Sunday. Yeah, that is
Yeah, the
speaking.
Rams are very the Ram. I think the Rams defense. I was listening to Tracy Sandler's podcast this morning, and she had a guest from I think it was Sports Illustrated on there.
Mhm.
They were talking about how young the Rams defense is this year. They have a lot of young guys on the team,
Yeah.
so that's going to be definitely be something interesting to see.
All right. Somebody who I have not seen, Matt Jones, 49ers for Life. Let's go. Thank you, brother, for showing up. Welcome
Hello.
to the show. Let's see. I'm definitely see how the Rams handle Purdy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. So we will go over to their offense. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the stats they had last week. As you can see, they went pretty much nowhere on the ground, but they scored 3 touchdowns on the ground. And they got a bunch of yards throwing, but they couldn't score with throwing. So it's kind of a weird balance that they had going on with this defense, or excuse me, with this offense. Matthew Stafford got the ball around to everybody. As you can see, the rookie Puka Nakua had 10 receptions, 119 yards. Tutu Atwell, 6 catches, 119 yards. That's pretty good for having you two starting wide receivers. Because obviously there was no Cooper Kupp because he's out right now.
Yep.
But neither of them got in the end zone. But that's when they had Cam Akers with one, and then Kyron Williams, their other rookie, with two. But they had less than 80 yards total, kind of thing, running the ball. So, um, yeah,
It's going to be interesting because it shows that they're more comfortable with throwing. And so I wonder, because I feel like the Rams coaches already know it's going to be tough to run against the 49ers defense, especially that front seven. It's going to be tough.
yeah,
So I'm sure they want to throw the ball, but it's going to be very hard when you have no Cooper Kupp there to
yeah.
help you out and you're relying on some younger guys. So it's going to be interesting to see. And like Matthew Stafford is not a bad quarterback at all. So it's
No,
going to
I'll
be
give him his
interesting.
respect. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
Super Bowl winning quarterback for what
Hmm.
take that. But I think we're going to try and make them one dimensional. I think their running backs are gonna put up similar types of stats. They're not gonna be able to run on us for right now. Our front
Yes.
seven is just gonna dominate them, and
Mhm.
I'm hoping that we're gonna push obviously push them to pass more with Stafford, and with how the corner, as long as we're not playing prevent defense again,
Mhm.
we should be fine. Because the only time we really gave up a whole lot was in the second half of the game, where you could almost say from about the midway point in the third quarter on, the game was done.
Yep.
So nobody cared after that point. And so Steelers were getting some ball movement there up and down the field. But other than that, the only time they got any sort of offense going was when we went to prevent defense at the end of the first half, which I was screaming the entire time. Stop going to prevent. I hate prevent defense with a passion. I'd rather them play man to man and get beat over the top than just give them 10, 10, 15, 10, 15 over and over again.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. And no shade to the Steelers, but I feel like Matthew Stafford's obviously much more competent quarterback, and like
Oh, then Kenny Pickett?
yes,
Yeah.
and so I think it's gonna be like we can't let them give them that advantage to be able to try to do that if we go and prevent defense. It's like that's just asking for problems.
Yeah.
So.
And with their scouting report right now, so obviously you can see Puka Nacua up there. He's hurt. He's actually questionable for the game, and most people think he's trending towards not playing. So then you have Tutu Atwell, still no Cooper Kupp. I don't even know who else is on their team when it comes to wide receivers at this point. So it'll be interesting to see who's Matthew Stafford throwing to.
That is true. That is true. I did not know that Nacua was questionable.
Yeah, he's questionable right now.
That's actually quite significant because that limits his targets, limits Matthew Stafford's targets for throwing quite a bit. So that's going to be tough. Because that means that the Rams might have to come out of the gate one-dimensional if that's the case. And then that's going to make it even tougher because it's going to be – and you can't play one-dimensional against that 49ers defense. It's very,
you can barely play two-dimensional.
For real. It's very difficult.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at this, I would almost say that the best receiver they have available right now is Cam Akers. And look, with who he's going to be covered all by, more likely like Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, I will take that matchup any day of the week on 20 on Sundays.
Yep.
Because as good as Puka Nacua, and that's outlier play. Puka's a rookie. Atwell's, I think, has been 3 years in the league, I think is what I saw. So these are outlier performances for both of them. But, if your offense is only getting that many yards rushing, what other options do you have but to start passing to people?
Yep.
So
that is true.
So I think, if we're going to make them one-dimensional, because they're not going to run on us, just start, Wilkes likes to blitz. Let's let it all hang out. Let's start blitzing the hell out of Stafford. He's obviously not very mobile, especially at his age. He's never been mobile, even when he was younger. So just start blitzing the hell out of him, and then maybe play some of that softer coverage so we don't get beat deep. But I think blitzing Stafford is going to be the best way to go.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go to the defense. Obviously, their defense is led by the future Hall of Famer, Aaron Donald. What can you say about Aaron Donald? As much as we hate him as a Niner fan, you have to show him respect.
Yep.
He's one of the most dominant players in the last 10 to 15 years. Probably, you could almost argue a top 10, maybe top 5 defensive tackle of all time. So, he's good. What else can we say? It's kind of like with T.J. Watt. He's going to get his no matter what.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we do not have a Daniel Runskill in the middle to show him who's his daddy anymore.
No, we do not. He's the only one that concerns me, straight up right now. Because he, especially because I know he can, if they line him up against that right side every once in a while against McKivitz,
yeah,
that's going to be a problem. I think it's going to be a bigger problem than with TJ Watt. Because Aaron Donald's a big dude. I know TJ Watt is too, but he's like, if you guys saw that video of the Seattle quarterback, why am I blanking on his name?
Gino,
like literally, like almost screaming, "Oh my god!" when Aaron Donald's like running into his face. Like that's not that. Like we don't need.
I would love to
Purdy.
see
Like,
Trent
we do
Williams.
the same thing.
Trent Williams and Aaron Donald go 1-on-1 like best out of 10. That's pay-per-view level. I would pay for to watch it.
Yeah. Oh, see, like that would be a fun matchup because that would be fun. But if I'm one of the Rams coaches and I'm looking at 49er film, I'm looking at it. Our weakness is on the right side of the O line. So I'm trying to get. I know that he likes a lot. I know they like to put him in the middle, and they probably will. But I think like you gotta, like for me, I'd be like I have to throw you out at least a couple of times just to see what happens. So I don't know. It's just he's the main player that worries me. And if he has a really, really, really good game on Sunday, who knows? But I don't know. It's just.
He's generational
He's
talent.
Aaron Donald, though, too. So, like
I said, generational talent, easily first ballot Hall of Fame. I mean, let's be honest, he's probably going to make the Hall of Fame before fucking Roger Craig does.
Yeah.
I mean, but they also, between Ernest Jones and Jordan Fuller, they do have two guys who are good at cleanup, especially Ernest Jones. I like him as a linebacker. He's really good side to side. Reminds me a lot of Dre Greenlaw style player. Not necessarily as fast as like Fred would be, but where Greenlaw seems to be a little bit more physical or something like that along those lines.
Okay.
David McKnight has shown some love to Raphael. But what's weird, the weirdest thing about this defense is that the best way to attack this defense has been to run at Aaron Donald. I don't think you can't be afraid of running at him. And I do think that the law firm of Rendell, Buford, and Banks is more than up to the task of being able to move Aaron Donald out of the way to get some of those rushing. Because, again, you can't be afraid to go at him. You still have to do it. And we've proven, and again, this is also with Daniel Brunskill, who is no longer on this team, that you can be productive running up the middle against him. So I think that if we're going to, we definitely need to attack the middle at Aaron Donald. And then, then start doing some of those screen passes. Some of those. What's weird with the offense is that, we're known for yak.
Mm-hmm.
The game against the Steelers, because they were covering everything so tightly up front, there was almost no yak. We were actually the 31st team ranked when it came to yak yardage for week 1, and it was the worst in the history of the Shanahan. Rick Diaz, how's it, brother? Thank you for showing up. So it's kind of interesting with that statistic.
I agree with that. To be fair, though, in all the games we played against the Rams, even I think after Brunskill was gone, has left, I feel like we've always done a pretty solid job about taking care of Donald. Like, we've always had a pretty good plan. He always gets a couple of plays, but for the most part, he's not as huge of a factor as he could be.
Yeah.
So I think
stop him from having that game changing where he's just taking over the entire game.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. But and that is funny that you bring out the yak yards, because that's actually pretty hilarious. And that'd be hilarious if we kind of like transferred into that, and then all of a sudden we have a game where like we just do like screen passes or short passes, and then Debo and Kittle just like run up the field and like knock over people. That'd be pretty funny. But I feel like this is going to be a big Debo game because Debo always shows up against the Rams. He always has a good game. So I don't know. I'm hoping for that fact.
And I'm going to piggyback off of Rick Diaz here and think we're going to have a similar game plan to what we was against the Steelers, to where we're still going to get our rushing yards no matter what. But I still think they're going to bring that front seven and press pretty hard. Mm-hmm. So that means their DBs are going to play a little bit deeper. And so instead of getting those 5 to 7 yard passes and those guys run for those 6, 7, 8 yards, we're going to get, more of those 15 to 20 yard passes like we did against the Steelers. And then obviously, they're playing prevent defense with the backs, with the DBs off a little bit, so they're going to get good tacklage. And we're just going to dink and dunk, just because Ayuk pretty much had 8 catches, almost no yak, but each one of them was for like 10 to 12 yards for each one. So I think we're going to see that similar style. And then maybe after a while, they're going to start backing that front 7 off. And then that's when you're going to see CMC jump up and start having those the rushing yards that he had last week.
Yep. No, I agree. And but I also think that after Ayuk's huge game last week, I feel like he's going to be, at least, like, the corners are going to be keeping an eye on him a lot.
But that's okay, because we have this other guy named Debo.
I know. And then that's what's going to free up Debo, and that's what's going to free up Kittle.
Yeah,
they're going to be really good. That's what's so great about
we have
this
a
offense.
decent third wide receiver named Juwan Jennings, who I think caught 1 pass.
Probably.
I mean, 3rd and 1, there's a reason why he shows up all the time for, he'll get 60 yards, but all 60 of those yards will be on like 3rd down where he catches like a first down pass for like 7, 8 yards. So, and again, if you cover all those guys, there's this Christian McCaffrey guy out of the backfield who can catch really damn good too. So, yeah, go ahead and double Ayuk because you're scared of what you saw after week 1. We have more weapons.
This is so fun because I think is this like the first time where all of the offensive pieces that we've tried accumulating over the years have been healthy at the same time and can all be on the field at the same time? This is what's so crazy. It's now we actually get to finally see what we all have been envisioning, and that Kyle's been and everybody's been like, listen, we know we have this plan. And now we're actually going to get to seeing it. And then Ayuk has come into his own and has a really, really strong first game, really amazing first game. So it's going to be really excited. I'm really excited for this game.
For you, Rick Diaz, I can tell you exactly who the Rams are.
Same old sorry ass Rams. So long. Same old sorry ass Rams. So long.
I think it's a requirement that soundbite is played 2 to 3 times for every single show.
Yep, I agree.
So, yeah, like I said, I think that, we definitely can't be afraid of going at Aaron Donald. Definitely got to attack him because for some reason, that just works. One thing that I'm curious if, and I don't know if you saw this in the Seattle game, but what's his name? Playing for the Rams is Ahkello Witherspoon. And DK Metcalf just absolutely blind shot sucker hit him, wasn't looking at him and just knocked him on his ass. And I kind of want to see if somebody go deep on Ahkello Witherspoon just because I've never liked him. Even when he was down, I'm like, I kind of don't like you. You just kind of, especially after that one game where we had, was it Brian Johnson start? Because Brian Johnson was really not good. But at least he had enough guts to go out there and play. Where Ahkello Witherspoon was like, I don't feel like playing. I'm not feeling good. So I kind of want to see just Debo or somebody just run over Ahkello Witherspoon. We'll see if they're actually. Why are the Rams talking trash? One, I haven't seen any trash talk from the Rams, to be honest with you. You can't talk any shit when we're wearing our home field uniforms in your stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And two, what's there to talk? I mean, who cares? It's the Rams.
I didn't know that Ahkello was over on the Rams. That's interesting.
He's kind of got bounced around. Like he was with the Steelers. He's been with the Seahawks. He was with somebody else too. There was another team that he played like half a season for as well. I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody else that he was playing for too. But,
yeah,
let's go next.
It's just a shame because he had the ability. He just did not have the. He had like the physical tools, but he just didn't have the effort.
Mentality, he was trash.
Yeah.
Great guy, when it came to like physical tools, like you said, but mentally he was trash. He reminds me a lot of Jalen Ramsey is more talented than Ahkello Witherspoon, but they both fall prey to the same thing to where if you talk smack back to them and you get a couple of good plays, they break.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once you get into their head, done. There's nothing else you can do. They like I said, they fold real easy. But if they can keep on top of you and they're playing good, they're really good. It's just mentally, if you can get to them, they break easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we talked about earlier, obviously Samuel Womack is out probably until December, I would assume, late December.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. The Rams have a few guys out. There's Puka Nacua. He's got an oblique issue. Their center Coleman Shelton, Russ Yeast, and then their linebacker that I like, Ernest Jones, also questionable with an illness, but they haven't said. Don't know if it's like COVID or if he just had like a stomach bug or whatever it is, kind of a thing. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. No team. Who is Seattle? Nobody listening. Yeah. Well, it doesn't help. Seattle had no help when they lost both their starting tackles in that game. So I mean, that helps.
That's just unfortunate.
Yeah. So I mean, when can the 49ers throw the ball? Expect the defense. Well, we can probably throw the ball whenever the hell we want to.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the injury update. And then for fantasy wise, this is what it looks like everybody's going to come out to.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the highest person right now is going to be Christian McCaffrey, obviously.
Yep.
In fact, let me pull up my fantasy league so everybody can see how my team is doing right now.
How many points did Ayuk get last week?
Do you know?
If you don't, it's okay.
No, I can look it up. Let's see.
I'm just curious because he had the 2 touchdowns and he had over 100 yards. So he probably had a pretty good day. I haven't played fantasy in years.
I have way too many fantasy leagues. I got 13 points. Huh? I thought you would have had more than that, especially 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was thinking closer to 20.
That doesn't.
But the touchdowns.
That doesn't seem right. Oh, there it is. 32.9. You almost had 33 points.
Oh, okay. Okay.
David McNiner with the Ernest Jones has that don't want to play 49 yards. He might not. All right, so let me pull up my team. This is obviously my 1K buy-in team. My wife hates this team. It's $1,000 a year I waste on fantasy football, and that's just this one team. Let's see a little better. All right, so far I actually had a good start to this game. I had Devontae Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles last night. I think I had Hawkinson. Yep, I had Hawkinson last night. Both of them had really good games.
Nice.
Mahomes, I don't know how I won with how bad as Mahomes played last week. Mixon wasn't all that great. Zach Moss, I actually traded because I actually have Cam Akers from the Rams as well. I was like, nope, taking you off. So I put Moss in. Then I'll have Devarius Peoples-Jones, Brandon Cook, Jamal Williams, and then Brock Purdy.
Nice.
So, and right now I am projected to win 172 to 120.
Okay. All
right, like this. Oops, wrong button. And then there is your betting lines for this next week. I'm actually going to take the over and the 42.5 because I think the Niners are going to score probably 37 to 39 points. But I can also see the Rams scoring a touchdown too, garbage time. So I can see them getting over the 2. We're actually favored by 2 points in their house. That's terrible for your home team. So, yeah, that's all I got for those.
Sounds good. I agree. I think I'll take the over too. I think it'll be over 42. I think we're gonna score. I think we're gonna score a lot of points, and that they're definitely gonna score some points too. So I feel like it's gonna easily be over that.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at score predictions. I hate doing it, but I think it's gonna be like Niners 37, Rams like 28. So, or
28?
like, no, I don't know, 20 something. I can't think of a number right now.
I'm going to say 10-37.
10-37.
Yep. There's no place that they have to where they match up at all.
Mhm.
The only place where they match up at all is at quarterback, which you can give if you want to give the advantage to Stafford, fine. You know, he's a vet quarterback. He's been around for a while. He's actually a really good quarterback. I know a lot of Niner fans will dog him pretty badly, but he's not a bad quarterback. So if you want to give him the edge there, okay, cool. Running backs, us. Wide receivers, us. Defensive line, us. Linebackers, us. Secondary, us. I mean, where do they win, you know, when you line up? I just don't see it at all.
True. Very true.
So
I know. I agree, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just gonna be. It could be with the injuries at the Rams. It could be a very weird game, but we'll see. But I
yeah,
do think we're gonna win, though. I think we're gonna win pretty handedly. I
we
don't have a
should.
doubt.
We
Yeah.
really should.
Yep.
All right. Anything else from you, Jamie?
No, not that I could think of right now.
Okay. Then I'm going to
Alright.
go through our little promo things. Someone
Sounds
else
good.
commented. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
as
you guys
always. All right. So, shop49ers.com. We do have an affiliate link. It is in the description of the video or the podcast, or just going to go to Niner Faithful Radio. It is also there. Also, if you go to cgiant.com, we also have an affiliate link for that to get all of your sporting and concert seats. Please subscribe everywhere you see Niner Faithful Radio. Basically, if you Google Niner Faithful Radio, you will find us. And this is the place you can find us. It's Niner Faithful Radio for everything except Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called this week. It is Niner Faithful R. I've asked TJ why, and he can't remember why it's just R on that one.
I think Twitter used to have a cap on how long you can make the
Oh, okay,
name,
that makes sense.
so I think that's why. I think, yeah.
So, all right. So for those of you who are here, oh, almost the wrong button. 3812. Yeah, probably. For those of you who are here, maybe David McNiner can answer this question. As a lot of you guys know, we do this community type thing to where we just kind of jump from stream to stream to stream. I believe up next is Corey Davis, who hosts over on Lockdown Sports, Lockdown Niners. Look up Corey Davis. In fact, I feel stupid for forgetting it, so let me look it up. It's Corey Davis. Just look up Corey Davis on there.
Okay.
Lockdown 49ers, I believe what it is. So it's either going to be him or, and I know this is going to sound weird, we also have Joe from the Seahawks. He's a Seahawks fan up here in Washington State. He is also going to be hosting a show where we all just kind of jump in, talk, and everything like that. So definitely go support those guys. Okay, Joe Stevens' channel has the actual start for this one tonight. So if everybody wants to jump over to Joe Stevens' channel, yes, he is a Seahawk fan, but he's good people. Good, it's just a hangout channel. We all talk shit to each other. It's all good times. So everybody, if you could, please go over to Joe Stevens. And then, as David says, Joe Stevens has the kickoff tonight, and then the night will finish over on Corey Davis' channel. So,
Nice.
Any last words, Jamie?
No, not really. I think just enjoy the game on Sunday. I think it's going to be a good game. I think these Rams games are always fun to watch. And yeah, as always, go Niners.
Indeed. Also on Sunday, TJ will be around. He said about 12 o'clock he's going to do the pregame show.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows who's doing the halftime show? I'm going to a concert Saturday night. I have no idea how sober I will be come Sunday morning, come that time. So I may or may not do the halftime show. I'm not sure who's going to do it. All I know is I won't know until about noon. And then, Jamie, what time are you going to be on for the post-game show?
So I do have work that day, but I should be out I would say close to 8. It's probably when I'm gonna
Okay.
be able to do it. If I get out earlier, I will obviously hop on a little bit earlier. But anticipate it being 8 o'clock. I know my work thing on Sunday is always stupid. So, but
Yeah, as long
that's
as you
my
get
plan.
on.
Yeah. But I
And
know
then,
it's super late past the game time, but you know, I
but hey,
kind of make it
sometimes
work.
that's good because then everybody else is kind of filtered out and you're just all that's left, and so people show up.
Yep.
And then, as usual, me and TJ will be back on Tuesday, and we will give our review of the game and a little bit looking forward to our Thursday night game against the Giants. I hate Thursday night games. I really do.
I really hope it goes. Where are we playing on Thursday night?
It's our home opener.
It's our home opener? Okay, that's what I
Yes.
thought. Okay, cool.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you very much. Malo.
Bye.